One actress on this show had been fired from her previous job for asking to be paid the same as the man next to her. One actor was legally required to be here, and one of them never got a goodbye. Step by Step, 1991 to 1998. 7 seasons, 160 episodes, a Friday night that felt like family, and a story behind it that nobody told you. 16 facts, counting down to number 1. One of them involves a man commuting daily from prison. Stay for the last one. It's the only ending this show ever got. Fact 16. The creator of The Brady Bunch tried to stop this show from existing. Sherwood Schwartz, creator of the original blended family sitcom, was furious when he learned about Step by Step and considered suing. His legal team advised against it. He never filed. The show ran anyway. 7 seasons, 160 episodes. Brady Bunch ran for 5. Fact 15. The roller coaster in the opening credits is in Valencia, California. The lake next to it was never there. The Colossus at Six Flags Magic Mountain doubled as a Wisconsin lakeside attraction for 7 years. The water wasn't real. Production digitally painted a shoreline over the park's parking lot. The same Colossus had already stood in for Wally World in National Lampoon's Vacation 8 years earlier. The family riding it every Friday night had no idea they were in a car park. Fact 14. Patrick Duffy was contractually obligated to be on the show. He had negotiated the clause himself. When Duffy returned to Dallas in 1986, he wrote a clause into his contract. When Dallas ended, Lorimar would be required to cast him in a new series. Dallas ended in 1991. Frank Lambert exists because Bobby Ewing needed an exit strategy. Fact 13. Cody Lambert was written as a 1-episode character. The studio audience had other plans. Sasha Mitchell arrived for a single guest appearance. Then the audience reacted. The same energy that had turned Steve Urkel into a phenomenon 2 years earlier. The producers recognized it immediately. Mitchell stayed. The van moved into the driveway. Fact 12. The marriage that started the whole show was not legally valid. Frank and Carol had to do it again, and Frank was dressed as a clown. 7 episodes into season 1, Frank and Carol received confirmation that their impulsive Jamaica wedding had never been recognized under U.S. law. They had been living together as a family without being legally married. What they got was a rushed wedding squeezed between a child's birthday party. Frank's still in full clown costume because the booked entertainer had canceled that morning. The whole series began with an impulse decision. The wedding did too. Fact 11. The actor who played the nerdy kid Mark Foster went on to become an adjunct professor of political science. Christopher Castile voiced Eugene in the first season of Hey Arnold on Nickelodeon, while simultaneously playing the Lambert household's resident academic. He also appeared in the first 2 Beethoven films. Then he stopped acting entirely. Today, Castile teaches political science at Biola University in Southern California. The smartest teenager in Port Washington, Wisconsin, is now grading actual students. Fact 10. 3 characters vanished from the show without explanation. The family still counted the same number of children. Aunt Penny, Carol's sister, a season 1 regular, was gone by season 2. Carol's mother, Ivy, the same. Brendan Lambert stopped appearing in season 6 when the actor quit. Frank and Carol continued to refer to their 7 children for the remainder of the run. Brendan was never mentioned again. The family had a gap where a person used to be, and nobody wrote around it. Fact 9. Steve Urkel arrived in the Lamberts' backyard in episode 2. He came by Rocket Pack. The Family Matters episode immediately before Step by Step that night ended with Urkel launching himself out of the Winslow backyard on a rocket pack. Step by Step opened with him landing in the Lamberts' yard. No commercial break, one continuous sequence. ABC was not easing a new series into the lineup. They were announcing it. For every Family Matters fan watching, the message was clear. This new show is already part of the family. Fact 8. The Lambert house is in South Pasadena, California. Most of what you remember about it was built on a Warner Brothers soundstage. The real house provided the exterior shots. The porch, the driveway, the van, all built at Warner Brothers. The neighborhood was chosen because South Pasadena is the most convincingly Midwestern street in Southern California. Halloween was filmed nearby. The most reassuringly familiar house in America was half California Street, half studio construction. Nobody ever noticed. A show that nearly got sued before it started. A roller coaster in a parking lot. A man obligated by contract. A clown who had to get married. From here, what happened to the people inside it? Fact 7. Sasha Mitchell was a professional kickboxer who was allowed to leave prison during the day to film the show. Mitchell had carried the kickboxer franchise after Van Damme, a black belt, a trained fighter. In 1996, he was convicted and sentenced. The production was allowed to bring him in during the day to film. He returned to his cell each evening. The most cheerful character on Friday night family television was commuting from prison. Fact 6. Brandon Call, who played J.T. Lambert, was shot in both arms on his way home from the set. He came back and finished the show. Nobody ever explained the long sleeves. In 1996, a car followed Call after a day of filming in Burbank. The driver cornered him on a dead-end street and fired. Both arms were hit. Call drove himself to a police station. He returned to work quickly. The production quietly updated his wardrobe, flannels, hoodies, long sleeves in every scene for the remaining seasons. Camera angles did extra work. The audience never noticed. That was the point. After Step by Step ended, Call left acting entirely. He has not appeared on screen since. Fact 5. Patrick Duffy's only condition for taking the role was that he could be home in time for dinner with his children. After 13 seasons as Bobby Ewing, Duffy could have gone anywhere. He chose a sitcom because sitcoms shoot during the day and record one evening a week. Frank Lambert was not a prestige role. It was a man in a flannel shirt keeping 6 kids from burning the house down. Duffy was home by 6. That was the whole point. Fact 4. Angela Watson, who played Karen Foster, earned $2.5 million during 10 years as a child actor. When the show ended, it was gone. Her own parents had spent it. Watson discovered after the show wrapped that nothing had been saved. The money earned across her entire childhood had been mismanaged and spent. It turned out to be a common experience among child actors of that era. In 2000, she founded CAST, Child Actors Supporting Themselves, to help young performers protect their earnings. The fashion-obsessed middle daughter spent her post-show years making sure nobody else lost what she had. Fact 3. The show ended without an ending. The finale that would have closed 7 seasons was never filmed. CBS canceled Step by Step in February 1998 and burned off the remaining episodes. The last to air was a routine story about Frank being offered a new house. Credits rolled. The planned finale was Dana and Rich's wedding, the relationship that had started as a joke between 2 people who couldn't stand each other. It was never made. The Lamberts were left mid-story. Then the story stopped. Fact 2. In 1980, Suzanne Summers was on the #1 show in America. ABC was paying her $30,000 an episode. In 1980, Summers asked to be paid $150,000 per episode, the same as John Ritter. She had been making $30,000. ABC's response was to reduce her scenes to brief, filmed separately segments until her contract expired. Step by Step was the answer. Carol Foster was a business owner, a mother, the person holding a 6-child household together. The network that had edited her out of her own show built its Friday night around her. That was the great thing about being fired, she said in 2020. I would have never been able to do what I do now. Fact 1. Suzanne Summers died on October 15, 2023, one day before her 77th birthday. She had been treated for cancer 3 times and kept working. After Step by Step, she wrote 27 books, 14 became bestsellers, and sold 10 million Thighmasters in the first 2 years. Patrick Duffy said, "When the stone of your life dropped in this pond, you made quite a ripple, my friend." She had asked to be paid fairly. They fired her. She built something larger than the show that let her go, and then came back and did it again for 7 more seasons. Carol Foster got the last word.